Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Please confirm. Dropping a live stream, random, unannounced. But I would like confirmation this is working, and it looks like it is working. Welcome, y'all. Now, I will warn you ahead of time. I have my crazy 2-year-old running wild, so if you hear a toddler going crazy in the background, then you know why. But we might wait a little bit, let some more people join. Instead of a video for today, I figured I would do a live stream. I haven't done one in a few weeks, and it would be fun to do one. And if you're watching now, if you could do me a favor, you know what I'm gonna say, but smash that like button so that YouTube can push this thing out and get some more people in here. What up, Joseph? Oh yeah, man, you guys in Texas are going through it. I live in Ohio, and I grew up in Wisconsin. So I think we're more equipped for this type of weather. I feel bad for you guys, I really do. I think they canceled the Dallas Mavericks game. It's so bad down there. Oh, they're postponing a lot of games this week. Y'all send some positive vibes, and hopefully those positive vibes can warm up my boy D2W Stew. Because everyone knows there's nothing worse than a cold stew. We got 6 viewers now. Go ahead and ask me some questions so I don't have to sit here feeling awkward looking into the void. Well, on the plus side, you can go, now you have a free skating rink. So that's an extra feature for your pool that I'm sure was not advertised to you. So consider that a bonus if you want to look at the silver lining. Y'all don't got no questions. Y'all just want to stare at me. That's fine. It's okay. No worries. I appreciate it. Now we have 8 viewers. I wonder how many viewers we can get up in here. Joseph, what's good? What's good, Adam? How are you doing, Adam? And Arsis is my bro. Welcome, Arsis. The Fury, no space. That's some serious fury, no space in between. That is a very good point. Which is hard. I feel like I always have 5 teams worth of guys. I always have like 2 players from each team. 7 to 8 guys injured or postponed. Yeah, that's rough. I've had a rough few weeks. I'm in a league with Arsis, and he knows. He was clowning me a few weeks ago. I think I got a 9-piece and a biscuit. That was rough, but I'm still coming for him. They don't know it. Darren, should I drop LaMarcus Aldridge for Josh Jackson in an ESPN default points league? I wouldn't blame anyone for moving on from LaMarcus Aldridge. Getting some strong Blake Griffin vibes from him. And I waited a little bit, hopefully hoping he would get better. Hasn't happened. Now he's dealing with an injury. And chances are, on a Coach Popovich team, we could see him sitting some games. Sorry, I got something in my throat. A little tickle right there. Glad to hear Adam is good. So you're not freezing? That's good to hear. If you're not freezing, go ahead and do me a favor and like this video. Like this video for being warm. And if you are freezing, you could warm yourself up by smashing that like button. The physical activity can generate some body heat. Thad Young more valuable as a stream spot in smaller leagues now? Why would he be more valuable as a streamer spot? Did I miss something? I may have missed something. I don't know. I mean, I think he had his most value when Wendell Carter Jr. was injured. I don't know if his value's higher now than it was with Wendell Carter Jr. not playing. But they still have Lauri Markkanen injured and Otto Porter Jr. still gone. So there should still be some value for him. Depends how small of a league you're talking, though. All right, so D2W Stu has Marcus Smart, Paul George, Dragic, Hayward, PJ Washington, Luka postponed, Aaron Gordon, Yusuf Nurkic. Yeah, that's rough. Luka owners are going to have a rough week because Luka already only had 2 games and they just postponed one of them. So you're getting 1 game from Luka this week. And that is your stud. So without, I wish you guys luck. I got Luka on the team or 2. I have him in the Barack Lesner Hoops Cash League. And the 1 week it looks like I finally going to get momentum going, this happens. So, it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. Hi, Riley. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Man, you guys are being stingy with the likes. It's all good, though. I still love y'all. And I will still answer your questions. Because that's why I'm taking the time to do this. Because I love to interact with the Barack Lesnar Hoops community. And if you like the Barack Lesnar Hoops community and you have not yet, you need to do me a favor and join the official Discord server. If you have not yet, you are missing out, no doubt. And I'm going to post that link. There it is for you. If you have not joined yet, you should definitely join. You have Smart, Jaren Jackson Jr., Oladipo, 80, Shea, Keldon, and Lauri. Man, I'm in the 16-team league. I lost DeAnthony Melton. Then after DeAnthony Melton, I lost Paul George. I lost Victor Oladipo, and then I lost Mitchell Robinson. And I still only lost the week somehow by like 4 steals. So the team is really good, but I haven't seen it healthy enough to really know if they're good. They're hypothetically on paper good, just like in my other league with my boy Arsis. He doesn't believe in my team the way I do. And he's really enjoying it because I kind of poo-pooed on his team when he drafted it, and he just beat me last week. So he's been on the slide trying to rub it in. But I reminded him I have a long memory. Kyle Kuzma's been pretty decent even before Anthony Davis being out for the next few weeks. So he makes for a quality streamer, at least until you get Anthony Davis back. Definitely improving as a fantasy asset. And looks like he's a better real-life player now than he was just last year. So, good for him. The opportunity's there for him. I recommended him as a streamer in one of my weekend videos. Sid the Kid is right. Everyone shout out to Sid the Kid. That's my boy right there, Diamond tier. So when you get analysis from Sid the Kid, you're getting some Diamond tier analysis. And that's the best analysis you can get. So D2W Stu, freezing his butt off. In Texas, thoughts on Grayson Allen, Jeff Green, Sark, and Isaiah Roby, my 4 streamers for the day. First year, I know should probably only have 2 to 3 streamers, but at least was Seth Curry and Hardaway that I had to drop. I mean, if you're in a position, there's not that much time left. And if you're not in a position to be competitive, you got to do what you got to do. And I guess Seth Curry, I would kind of regret dropping. I think he's going to be better. But Grayson Allen, Jeff Green, Sarge, and Isaiah Roby, if those are your streamers, I'm assuming you're in a pretty deep league. How deep is your league? And Riley has Kira Lewis Jr. as a streamer today and tomorrow. I don't know. I've seen his name popping up a lot. Unless Lonzo Ball is traded or Eric Bledsoe, they sit him. I don't really see where he's going to get his minutes. I guess as a streamer, you could take a gamble. I just don't expect much consistency right now. I don't see the opportunity being there. You're welcome for the daily content. That's what I wanted to do, a live stream today. Again, haven't done one of these in a long time. Figured it would be fun to do. I normally do them Sundays really late, so this is kind of a pop-up live stream. Man, standard Yahoo 12-man, and those are the best streamers you could get. You must be in a really competitive league, my friend. If the waiver wire is that bare, then you have to count on Grayson Allen, Jeff Green, Saric, and Isaiah Roby as your streamers. Yes, get that free NBA League Pass. Even though I personally have had nothing but failures with League Pass. I feel like every time I've ever had it and wanted to watch a game, it's blacked out. And then I ask myself, do they not realize this is why people pirate? Not advocating for you to go pirate anything. You get 7 days free. Whatever you do after that, I guess it's not my business. Alright, I see we got 16 concurrent viewers here and only 5 likes, and that's a huge discrepancy. It's very cold out here. It's very cold in Texas. It's very cold all over the country. But not as cold as you if you don't drop some likes for your boy. There you go. I warmed somebody's heart up. That's what I like to see. No doubt, the eye test is very important. I like the eye test, and I like when it matches data. I like both. Ultimately, both are going to be your best option. I think you hear the young Savage in the background, and if you do, I'm sorry. This mic's supposed to block out noise, but he's pretty noisy. Ain't nothing wrong with taking a swing on the young kid, and if Lonzo Ball gets traded away, that would open up some opportunity for him. We have heard some rumblings that he could be traded to the Chicago Bulls, so nothing wrong with that. I'm making a similar bet on Isaiah Roby, who's only getting like 17 or 18 minutes, but we've also heard they may trade out Horford. Uh-oh. He's back there. That kid runs me. Should I drop any of those 4 to pick up none? Or pick Steph Curry back up? See, I like House. House has been pretty good. I like his opportunity. I would definitely... Ooh! Look at my boy with the super chat. Man, he's out there freezing in Dallas. That could go towards his electric bills. And instead... Now he warmed my heart. I'm no longer cold. It's 10 degrees outside, but I feel like it's 60 degrees outside with that super chat. Thank you. Kendrick Nunn. Anyways, Kendrick Nunn, I'm a big fan of Kendrick Nunn when he's getting the playing time, and it looks like he's been getting the playing time. So I think you should stick with him. I would pick Steph Curry up. Depends. If you're like last in your league and you absolutely need those streamers, if not, you don't want to sacrifice long-term potential for someone like Steph Curry, who has a secure role. He's getting minutes and has just been struggling some. Because once he heats up towards the end of the season, you're going to really regret it if you dropped him for guys that are on the waiver wire. Will Marcus Morris keep his current play up when Paul George and Kawhi return? I don't see it happening. You also have to keep in mind, Nicholas Batum did not play either. They already have Serge Ibaka. They also have Ivica Zubac, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. So if that team's fully healthy, I don't see Lou Williams performing to the same degree, and I don't see Marcus Morris performing to the same degree. So you may want to try to sell high while you can. Who is my trade target with Towns? I'm afraid Minnesota will sit him. Mr. Tan. So I had the exact same issue. it was a dynasty league, and I too have concerns that Minnesota's going to sit him because I believe they lose their pick based on the trade they did. I believe it was with Miami. And if they're not bad enough, then they have to give the pick up. So they have the incentive, if they're not going to make the playoffs, to avoid losing that pick. So that means they're incentivized to sit Karl Anthony Towns. So in my opinion, what that means, you may want to consider moving him in a season long. I was able to get Fred VanVleet and Christian Wood for him, which Karl Anthony Towns, when healthy, it was rough giving him up. But ultimately, if Christian Wood comes back healthy, I think he's less likely to be a shutdown risk, and Fred VanVleet's definitely not going to be a shutdown risk. So that was one move I was able to make. So maybe you could target Christian Wood, who's injured, and get another really nice player along with them for Karl Anthony Towns like I did. That could be the basis for the start of something. Ooh, some more, man. See, I got to be like my boy Stu. My boy Stu paying up. He's paying up for these answers. So if you want to super chat your boy, go ahead. And if you don't want to super chat me, that's fine. I still got the same love for you. But it's just nice to see that colorful box with money on it. I like money. And you know what? If you guys have any investment questions, I know this is a fantasy basketball channel, but whatever, I like to talk about investment stuff too. So don't feel that you have to be limited to basketball. Or if you want to talk about life in general, we could talk about life in general. It doesn't matter. This is a free-for-all. Riley Jackson, is Booker so high, or is he doing what he should be? I will tell you, I had somebody in my league complaining that he's not one of his top 12 players in a 16-team league. So I don't know that his value's still where it needs to be. He has been doing better for sure. He's been heating up some, but I can't say he's a sell high. He's probably getting closer to what he should be, but he's not quite there. So I would probably wait. Hopefully he has like a 50-point game. And then I think at that point, if you want to get rid of him, that may be your opportunity. His value right now, though, may still be impacted. Do you think it's worth hiding LeVert and Warren? Do you think it's worth holding LeVert and Warren? If not, which one of them should I drop? Honestly, I think both of them are droppable. I am in a 12-team league where they only have 2 IR spots, and both of them were full, so I had to drop Warren. And LeVert, we've heard he's starting to do non-physical activity, so he's starting to resume activity, but we still don't really have a timetable for his return. And even at his best, he's kind of a flawed categories player. So it's hard for me to say. I'd say neither one are must-owns at this point, especially when we don't have a clear timetable of when they're going to return. What else y'all got for me? That's it? No other questions? All right, well, I guess that's it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to hang around for a little bit. It's only been like 10 minutes. No, it's been 20 minutes already. Time flies when you're having fun. Gargandale, 9-cat, 12-team league. I have drop one when Smart comes back. McConnell, Kobe White, or Smart. Are those your only options? Tell me what all your options are, because I don't really like any of those options as drops right now. One of my biggest regrets in the 16-team league was dropping TJ McConnell like a month ago. He's made me absolutely regret that, and I don't want you to have the same regret. You definitely don't want to drop Smart. Kobe White, I wouldn't drop him. I would trade him before dropping him. I think you could probably get something decent in a trade. I don't like that he doesn't get you steals, and his field goal percentage is pretty bad, and I don't like that combination. So I definitely wouldn't tell you to drop McConnell or Smart. Oh, excuse me. How do you feel about Patrick Williams? Patrick Williams, I like his upside. I like that he gets you three-pointers. He can get you steals and blocks, but he has been pretty inconsistent. But his coach, Billy Donovan, is making him cover some of the best players on the other team, and he's giving them minutes. So I could see one of those situations where as time goes on, the inconsistency, he becomes more consistent, and you see him flying off the waiver wire. I see a guy like Saddiq Bey, and everyone's rushing to pick him up, and he's still a young player, and I think he's going to be inconsistent too. I don't think he's going to be any better than Patrick Williams is. So if you find Patrick Williams on your waiver wire and Saddiq Bey is gone, I don't think Patrick Williams is a bad target at all. Who's an injury stash? All right, Mark, so I recently just made a trade. I traded Eric Bledsoe, I traded Hassan Whiteside, and I traded Lou Williams, and I'm getting back Marcus Smart, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Nicholas Batum. So I took a shot at trading some healthy guys I don't really like to get back Marcus Smart and Jaren Jackson Jr. So I think those are two pretty good injury stashes based on that alone. What up, Sam? How you doing? Sam is one of the most consistent viewers I have. He's in almost every video. He asks questions. He answers other people's questions. I will say one thing about you, Sam. You believe these teams too much. Because I've warned you guys before. I warned you about Shea, and I told you, I think they're downplaying the injury, and you listen to their PR. Don't listen to these teams. These teams lie. If I've learned one thing in fantasy basketball, these teams lied, and now you see that knee injury for Shea was more serious than they were letting on. So other than believing too much in these teams, he's amazing. So shout out to him. And again, if you can't contribute super chat, it's fine. The least you can do is smash that like button for me, because that's completely free. And if you can't give me a free like, then you're just, like I said, you're coldest winner. And I even have let's see. What other questions do we have, guys? I even made a special background for you guys. Ooh, we got a good series of questions now. Who do you want to see the Packers pick up this offseason? Man, J.J. Watt would be nice. Well, come back home. I'd like to see him come. He'd be a nice pickup. What percent do you put on the town shutdown? Man, I'm pretty confident he's going to be shut down. D'Angelo Russell's already injured. It doesn't look... See, if they go on a winning streak, where they actually have a chance to make the play-in, then I don't see him getting shut down. But we're talking another month of consistent losing where they're mathematically eliminated from being able to make the playoffs. Then at that point, I think it's almost a certainty they're going to shut him down, because they don't want to lose that pick. The worst position you can be in is to be a lottery team giving away your lottery picks. So I just don't see them being in that situation. I can see them calling it a lost year and trying to develop guys like Jared Vanderbilt, giving Nas Reed the minutes. We could see him play occasionally. I just see a lot of rest games. He already had that fractured wrist, and he dealt with COVID. It's been a rough season for him so far, so I think it's a high probability of him getting shut down. All right, so let's see. Kobe White is one of those players you hate to have on your team but can't drop. I've been trying to trade him all season. Yeah, I wouldn't drop him, but I would definitely try to package him in a trade, maybe with some other guys that you don't like, and see if you can get back maybe an injured guy that's someone like Paul George. try to package him with another decent guy for someone like Paul George, because I think Paul George owners are getting desperate right now. I know I'm desperate in my 16-team league. I haven't given him up yet, but we don't really know what's going on, and it's kind of scary, especially with him being my best player. I must have missed something, Gorgon. Other options are Keldon Johnson, Brook Lopez, Anunoby, Conley, or Batum. I don't know. You don't have any good drops. You may want to consider some trades, my friend. See if you could package two of those guys for one and create a streamer spot anyway that way, because you don't have any good drops. And you still have some time before Smart comes back. Hey, Barack, who do you like more between Thaddeus Young and Nicholas Batum? I like Nicholas Batum more. I think he's a better category player. That's why I just traded for him. He's been pretty good this season. He's gets you three-pointers. The percentages have been decent. He gets you some rebounds, some assists, some steals. Keeps the turnovers low. He's a pretty good category league player. So I would have to say Nicholas Batum out of those two. And we've seen him getting that production even with the team fully healthy. So it's not something that's based on injuries like with Thaddeus Young. Do you get rid of Alec Burks? Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Alec Burks. When he first came back, I said, hey, pick him up to see if he can capture some of that early season glory, but Alec Burks has kind of been that way his whole career. Somebody else that he reminds me of is Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood goes on these streaks where he's good for a couple of weeks and then he goes back to being not so good. Somebody else that reminds me of that is Tim Hardaway Jr. on the Mavericks. I think he's that caliber of player, not the biggest fan personally speaking. So if you want to move on, move on. Andre Michael smashed that like button. Thank you so much, Andre Michael. He smashed that like button, and so should you. Sadiq Bey over Josh Jackson. I don't know. I think I like Josh Jackson more than Sadiq Bey. If I had the choice to pick up both, I think I would pick up Josh Jackson. So with Otto Porter Jr. coming back, what do you think of Thaddeus Young? Yeah, I'm telling you, that team is starting to get healthy, and that's going to impact Thaddeus Young. And then you have Lauri Markkanen in a few weeks. So that's shorter term value, in my opinion, with Thaddeus Young. He's been pretty good so far, but you have to start making moves before they happen. You don't want to wait until he loses all his value to try to make a move. So D2W Stu, I'm projected to lose the league a manager by 200 plus this week with all my injuries postponed. So should I say fuck? Sorry. Should I say F it and go at none and maybe house Junior Seth Curry? I would definitely do that. Forget the streamers. I would just take that L this week. It sounded like you're in good enough position to take the L this week. Make your team stronger towards the end of the season. There's a lot of people that weaken their team to win the week, and they'll win a week or two. But then all their streamers lose value at the same time, and then the guy like you who loaded up their team with season-long value suddenly goes on a long win streak because you were thinking for the future. It's an investment mindset. Streaming is like instant gratification. What you're doing you're investing in your team being stronger over the long term. Mark Alexander's Barnes a drop? No, you've seen him do good enough that you definitely don't want to drop Harrison Barnes. But if you're not feeling confident in his production, wait for him to have another nice game and try to package him in a trade. Trade value for Kevin Love, you could probably get a 12-pack of donuts and a cup of coffee at Speedway for Kevin Love right now, but that's about all you're going to get. Grayson Allen is a good streamer. He's not the worst streamer while DeAnthony Melton and Desmond Bane are out, but once they return, I don't see him having much value. All right, Sam asked Shea or Paul George points lead. George is 3 points better so far. Man, I have to say Paul George. Though I may say Shea because regardless of the knee concerns, it doesn't seem like they're that serious. While the Paul George foot injury seems to be something that could linger on all season. So it's a little rough. On paper, Paul George is better, But I just think there's a higher probability of Shea not having as serious of an injury. But if both somehow come back healthy here in the next few weeks, Paul George is the better option. So it really comes down to your assessment of how healthy Paul George can be here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Maledon is back. Should I drop Pat Williams or Podol? Definitely do not drop Podol. Podol has been killing it with the injury to LaMarcus Aldridge. I would drop Pat Williams between those two. You do not want to drop Podol. He's getting you rebounds. He's getting you a lot of blocks, and he gets you high field goal percentage. That is not a guy that you want to drop while he has that opportunity. Thad Young for Bazley. I guess I'm not a fan of Bazley, personally speaking. I saw the other day that Bazley has like one of the top 10 worst player efficiency ratings in the entire NBA. So not a huge fan of his. But if that's all you can get for him, he probably does have better season-long value than Thaddeus Young. Though at the moment, Thaddeus Young is the better streaming option. So you're 6 at 3-4 with. You can still afford to lose this week, but we are getting close towards the end where we're around the middle now, but we're getting close enough towards the end, Stu, where you may have to make some sacrifices, but I think you can afford this week, especially with all those injuries, to do that. Is Cantor for Harrison Barnes a good buy low in a points league? Honestly, right now, I think I prefer Cantor. Cantor's been really good. And he still has some value until Yusuf Nurkic comes back. So I probably wouldn't do that move right now. And I think you guys should. If you haven't yet, I'll post that link to the Discord again for you to check that out. And I agree with Sammy that you guys should smash that like button. Is Vucevic a sell high? I can't say Vucevic is a sell high. Vucevic, we've seen him do this now for multiple seasons. He's just that good. And on that gutted Orlando Magic team, unless you're getting a really great player back, I'm talking about like a Nikola Jokic type player. Even if you had to add maybe another mid-roundish player, I'm not giving a Vucevic. Vucevic is too valuable in my opinion. Maledon, an instant plug-in. I suppose he has some value right now. I still think he's a young player and he's probably better in points leagues. I think his percentages are going to be inconsistent based on what I've seen. I don't have his information in front of me right now, but from memory and from what I've seen, he's been pretty inconsistent. But in a deeper format where the waiver wire is bare, you could do a whole lot worse than Maledon as a plug-in. If you lost AD, who can you replace him with? So if you constructed your team well, you're not going to be able to replace everything that AD brings you. So at that point, you may want to consider, well, I'm not going to replace his scoring, but can I replace his rebounding? Can I replace his field goal percentage? Can I replace his blocks? And if you think to yourself you can, I'm thinking of someone like Jacob Podol. I'm thinking of someone like maybe Nerlens Noel. So that you at least are maintaining his ability, the rebounding, the steals, and the blocks. And you're just punching the points, and you're like, I'm not going to focus on points right now until I get Anthony Davis back. But you still want to preserve some of those categories you built your team around. Does that make sense? Do you have any value picks for tonight? Let me go ahead. Let me take a look. Right now. And I'll let you know if I see any value picks for tonight. That should be pretty easy. I'm just going to look at transaction trends, see who's being picked up and who's playing tonight. So, Marcus Morris Sr. is only 41% rostered, and I believe they're still dealing with those injuries. He scored 32 points last game, 23 points the game before that, 20 points the game before that. So he's been getting pretty consistent playing time, so he's a value pickup. Grayson Allen, somebody else mentioned. He got 31. He's had 30 minutes or more the last 3 games. He's hitting multiple three-pointers. He has some steals potential. So he's another decent target for tonight. Jared Vanderbilt, we saw him get a start in a win against Toronto. He had 23 minutes, had 12 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. He has some steals and blocks potential. So he's somebody else that you can consider. Let me see. Looks like Carmelo Anthony is only 48% rostered. So he's been pretty decent. He scored 15 or more points the last 4 games. He's somebody else you could consider streaming. And let me see if there's anyone else. Jeff Green on the Nets because Kyrie Irving is missing the game with a back injury. So that should open up some minutes for him on offense. And he had three-pointers, 13 points on the 15th. So he's somebody else to strongly consider. Let's see. Josh Hart. Josh Hart, we've seen him have some strong rebounding games. He's kind of fallen back to earth over the last few games. But he's somebody else if your waiver wire is bare. He's only 26% rostered. He could put up some production for you. And let me see a few more. Give you guys a few more value picks. Lugins Dort. Lugins Dort had a really good game on February 14th. He had 3 3-pointers, had 19 points, 2 steals. The 7 turnovers was not great, but he has pretty good threes and steals potential. He makes for a decent target. TJ McConnell, if you have not picked him up yet, he doesn't play tonight, so that one doesn't help you. But, you know, people are starting to really jump on that hype train. And like I told you, I really regret dropping him in that 16-team league in which I had him. Ricky Rubio has been a lot better as of late. He's only 55% rostered. And it does look like he plays tonight versus the Lakers. So he's somebody else to consider strongly. And I'm going to give you 1 or 2 more. Lou Williams is now 69% rostered, so its chances are you won't find him anymore. You could have grabbed him maybe a week or 2 ago. Nerlens Noel is 58% rostered, so he's being picked up quickly. Joe Ingles, where's Joe Ingles at? Joe Ingles is only 51% rostered, and he plays tomorrow, so that's not going to help you. So, and I'm just going off transaction trends, so if I name some players that don't play tonight, I do apologize. Because it does not show me here. But all right. On to some other questions. That was a very detailed one. And now I lost my chat screen. Here it is. Ooh, you guys are dropping the super chats. I love it. Who else is going to drop some super chats? See, I have to make sure I'm not missing any super chats. Because the super chats have to get priority because they're dropping that cash. So D2W Stu, much appreciated, boss, and exactly what I was thinking. Just my first year, so kind of fish out of water. I'm assuming that's fantasy football guy since 2001. You've been helping a lot. Thanks. You've been helping me a lot too, man. You paying up. I appreciate you. All right, let me make sure I'm not. If you want to make sure you get your question answered, even $1 or $2 in the super chat is going to put you up there on the queue. So thoughts on Covington and Horford rest of season in a points league? Covington is more of a categories guy. I don't know about his potential in a points league because he's not a volume scorer. He hasn't really been rebounding that well. He hasn't been getting assists. He's more of a steals and blocks guy that can get 3-pointers. Horford is a better points league option. But keep in mind, Horford could be traded at some point. And if he does stay with the Oklahoma City Thunder, he's going to face rest games often. So that's something to keep in mind. I got offered Lonzo Ball and Al Horford. And the second round pick in a dynasty league I'm in for DeAndre Ayton. And the one thing that made me say no, besides it being a double-double league, and those guys don't get double-doubles, is that I don't know what's happening with Horford. Something I was thinking and strongly considering the Boston Celtics have that player exception, and they need a big man. What better big man for them to target than Al Horford? Bring Al Horford back home. His sister loves Boston. He seems to love Boston. And he's been their best center they've had pretty much since the KG days. So if that trade happens, then I like Al Horford's value a lot. I haven't heard anyone say that's going to happen. But me trying to calculate and read the tea leaves, I think that's something that could happen. All right, let me go back and see. Nope, no more super chat. So, again, if you want your question answered before, you need to get that super chat in. And if not, I will do my best to get to you. But if you can't contribute a super chat, you can contribute a strong like. Smash that like button, please. All right, let's see. Should I try to sell high LaMelo? If yes, what kind of players? I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. Like, if somebody offered me Drew Holiday for LaMelo Ball, I would make that move. So that's one to consider. What to do with Lauri Markkanen? Should I hold or use him or use his spot for streaming? Are you holding him on your roster as dead weight instead of an IR? Then no, I would not hold him on a bench spot. I don't think he's good enough for you to carry that dead weight. If you can put him in an IR, do that. But if not, open up his spot for streaming, because you could probably find somebody that'll be just as valuable. And you'll miss some opportunities if you're just carrying his dead weight. So Sam, I have Harden, Giannis, Tatum, Gobert, and Shea as my starting lineup in a 10-man. Any gold? Any good. Okay, that makes a lot more sense than any gold. Harden, Giannis, Tatum, Gobert, and Shea in a 10. That seems like a very strong lineup right there. And is that a points league format or categories? Because in categories, my one issue would be you're canceling out the free throw efficiency of James Harden and Tatum with Gobert and Giannis. They're just kind of odd bedfellows. So that inconsistency could end up hurting you if it's a categories league. Keep up the good work, my guy. In a head-to-head points league, what kind of return do you think I could get on Brogdon right now? Looking for either an upgrade at the point guard position or any wing. I would try to package Brogdon maybe for some of those guys that are dealing with injuries right now. So maybe Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, maybe even Anthony Davis. If you believe that what Anthony Davis is dealing with is not going to be long-term, I would strongly consider doing that. All right. Hey, Barack, got a few injuries at the moment. Should I hold on to Lamb or should I stream him in spot instead? Lambs have been inconsistent. If you can't, if you don't have any good drops because of injuries, Lamb has been pretty inconsistent. Don't forget how good he was. But if you don't have any better drops and it's do or die for you, we are getting towards the middle of the season where maybe you just can't afford any more losses. Sometimes you just have to make that sacrifice and make a drop. And if you feel you're in that situation, I won't hold that against you, Will. Neil's in the chat. Shout out to my boy Neil. He helped with the creation of the Discord server, which is very important to me. And you should definitely check out the Discord server if you have not yet. I just pinned it above so you could check that out. All right. Hey, Barack, what game should I pick for Josh Hart this week, against Memphis or Portland? I'd say Portland. That Portland defense is pretty soft. I could see Josh Hart getting a lot of rebounds against Portland. I don't really see him getting that same kind of opportunity against Memphis. If you had to put me on the spot, I would say against against Portland. Who do you like more for the next few weeks in the Cat League? Noel, Podol, Wagner. I think Podol's been better than Noel. That's rough. Ideally, I'd try to have both because having those two, especially if you pick them up off the waiver wire, could instantly make you dominant in blocks for the next few weeks. And blocks are incredibly valuable in my opinion. So I would have to say do your best to try to grab both because they're producing at a high level right now. Wagner, he comes a distant third until we see him for sure have a secure role. He's a more complete player when given the opportunity because he does hit threes unlike those other two. But we've also seen them fluctuate with the center rotation. We saw Alex Len getting starts and him getting do not plays. So until we see for sure that he's that starting center or that starting power forward, I would have to say Noel, Podol are pretty equal and try to get both. If you have to get one over the other, I think Podol's a better rebounder and about as good of a shot blocker as Noel, but Noel has better steals potential. Trying to sell John Collins, no takers yet. Love the content, Barack. Thank you, Joe Banacosta. Just keep John Collins. I think John Collins is underrated, and if he does get traded, that could be a better situation for him. Guys that can hit three-pointers, get blocks and rebounds on decent percentages, don't grow on trees. And I just can't help but feel he's going to be better than he's been. He was a top-round player just last season. I know he doesn't have the same opportunities now with Clint Capella on the team, and they added a lot of veterans. But John Collins is pretty good. All right. Rather have Boucher or Derek White? My concern, Mr. Zhang, with Boucher is that if they trade for Andre Drummond, that Boucher is going to fall off significantly. While I think Derek White is going to have season-long value, and I don't see any trades that are going to change that. We don't know that Andre Drummond's going to the Raptors, but we've heard very strong suggestions that they're working on that. So if I had to choose, I think Derek White. Now, if there is no trade, I think Boucher is the better option, but the fact that they're trying to trade to Andre Drummond just makes me feel they don't consider him a long-term solution. And when you see a team trying to trade for a guy that's going to take his minutes, it's hard for me to tell you to pick that guy. All right. And thank you for smashing that like button, BJ Estrada. If you haven't smashed that like button, go ahead and do that. All right, Ralph Bach. I have DeMar, Shea, Wood, LaMelo, JJJ who are out. What should I do? I mean, not much you can do. None of those guys are drops, and none of them, outside of Jaren Jackson Jr., are really out for the long term. So, not sure what you could really do other than just weather that storm. Maybe you could try to trade Jaren Jackson Jr. and Wood. Maybe you could package those guys and get a healthy guy. But that's about the only option I really see. The only option I really see for you there are some trades. And Neil Patel gave you some great advice, actually. He said it better than me, actually, young Neil. He said try to trade them for people in your league that you know like those players. If you can't get a good return, keep them. Don't sell low. I think that's very accurate. What up, B? Yo, who you calling a B? Jose? Oh, for Barack. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm from the hood, so sometimes, I can get grimy. This is my first year playing fantasy basketball, and I like it. But I'm not too keen on my league capping our waiver wire picks at 50. Keeper league, what's your take on capping the wire? 50, that's insane in a COVID year to only have 50. That's dumb. Because you're pretty much being punished if you happen to suffer from a lot of injuries or if you have a lot of postponed games. There's different ways that you can stop streaming than capping it at 50. For example, you can make the pickups like 3 a week. And if you did 3 a week and there's like 18 weeks, it still ends up being more than 50 pickups. But you stop people from streaming. So I think that's a dumb cap, personally speaking. Mark Alexander, I have Schrader and Harrell rostered in the same team, 12-team league. Cats, do you suggest that I drop one? Or keep both? What would I do? I don't think either one is a drop. Not in the 12-team. I would see if there's any teams in your league that are in need of a point guard, or maybe any teams in your league that are in need of a center, and then try to offer them in the trade. But speaking of Harrell, somebody offered me, who was it they offered me? They offered me Harrell and some role player for Jimmy Butler, and I just wish I could laugh in their face. It was such a laughable trade offer. Sorry, that just reminded me of that. Dort was where I was looking. My only option would be to drop Zeller, though. Tonight at 2 games leaning. Yeah, I wouldn't drop Zeller. Zeller's been pretty good so far. If you could afford to just weather the storm for the week, I would do that, Josh. Would Beal and Young for Levine and Bam be a steal? Beal and Young for Levine and Bam. Definitely not a steal. Yeah, I wouldn't call that a steal. Bradley Beal's really good. Are you talking, unless you're talking about Thaddeus Young? If you're talking about Thaddeus Young, then I'd say yeah. If you're talking about Trae Young, then no. So maybe clarify for me which one you're referring to. All right. And I'm going to put this out there again. If you can support the channel, with $1, $2 super chat, I can jump your question up to the top of the queue. But if not, you can smash that like button for me, and that's incredibly helpful as well. Well, and there we go. Mr. Kelvin Kyle with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Do you see Lamb and Keldon improve towards the end of the season, or is this about it? Keldon started off blazing hot. Sorry about that. Mother was calling me, but I will have to call her back. Keldon has been really hot to start the season, but the team is getting healthy. I believe he's the one that has COVID on the Spurs. Not that matters. But we're seeing him regressing some. So, I don't know. Maybe he's going to be somewhere in between both extremes. I think you saw his potential early on in the season, but again, with Derek White back, the team is a lot healthier. We may have seen his best basketball already. Jeremy Lamb, I think he's just going through a bit of a cold spell right now. We've seen him be consistent in past seasons, and he came off pretty strong off a very serious injury. So Jeremy Lamb, I think we'll see him do better. With Keldon, we don't really have the sample size of going, well, he was really good last year too. So I'd say Lamb, I could see improvement. Keldon, it's possible, but we may have seen his best basketball already, while I don't feel that for Lamb. And thank you again for that super chat. If anybody else wants to follow his lead, you saw how his question got skipped up the queue, we could do that for you as well. But if not, smash that like button. All right. So Josh asked, drop either Bojan or Zeller for the week. No, don't drop Bojan or Zeller. Don't drop Bojan or Zeller. Barack, is there a possibility that the postponed games will never be played? That's definitely a possibility. We don't know what agreement they'll reach. From my understanding, they're going to set the second half schedule sometime after the All-Star break. I guess they're going to have to calculate what teams have postponed games, how many postponed games, and we may see them decide that they can't make up that many games, and they may cap how many games they replace. So it's definitely a possibility. How big of a possibility, I don't know. The one thing you have in your favor is that teams like money. Rich men like money. They don't like leaving money on the table. That's why they're having the All-Star game, despite some of their star players complaining about them having an All-Star game. So my guess is they don't. My guess is they do play the postponed games because they already shortened the season by 10 games, which is something they've never wanted to do. So they're already leaving 10 games on the table. And I don't see them wanting to lose more revenue. But it's for sure a possibility. How big of a possibility, that I don't know. Joe Benacosta. Punting field goal percentage. Who would you recommend as a trade target for John Collins? It's hard to say because it's going to depend on your league. Because I'm in some leagues where it doesn't matter. Guys just don't want to trade. They know I have a fantasy basketball channel and they're just apprehensive to trade with me unless they feel like they're ripping me off. And sometimes I let myself get ripped off because I really want a player. Your best bet is to target someone who doesn't have any big men. And maybe they have a lot of point guards. And figure out what you need. Maybe they have an abundance of what you need. Once you identify what that team is, send them a chat and say, hey, do you have any interest in John Collins? And if they're low on centers, chances are they may want him. If you try to trade him to a team that has 5 strong centers already, they might not want him. So that is your way of starting to at least get on the right track and working out a deal. Because I could sit here and name players all day, but then you can make that offer to the guy that has those players and they're not interested at all. So really, it's just like farting into the wind. Excuse my flowery metaphor. Punting field goal percentage, who would you recommend? Okay, that's the same question. But if you're punting field goal percentage, maybe you could see who has Marcus Smart, and you could ask for Marcus Smart and a decent big back. That's a start. Marcus Smart is one of the best punt field goal guys, and maybe if you're able to get another decent player along with him, that could be a good start for you because Marcus Smart is a really good punt field goal percentage player. Celtics targeting Drummond, apparently. Josh Yake, my thought was big out to Brooklyn. I don't know if Brooklyn has the cap space to make it work unless the Thunder buy out Al Horford. If the Thunder buy out Al Horford, then yes, the Nets could possibly do it. But I think they'll have enough suitors where they can trade Al Horford outright. And I don't think Brooklyn has the cap space to... I don't know who they would give up in a trade to get him is what I mean. They're already kind of bare bones as a roster. They don't really have the contracts to get them Al Horford. Celtics targeting Drummond, apparently. That's possible. I don't know who they would give up, though, to get him. I think Toronto can offer better options than the Celtics can offer right now. What do you think about the postponement for Charlotte versus San Antonio? I mean, what can be said? I believe Keldon Johnson has COVID. It is what it is. I have a lot of thoughts on the whole COVID situation. I think it's silly they can't hug after games, but they play during the whole game, and the NBA says that there's low risk of transmission during the games, but you're sweating on a ball and sharing it, but the moment you're off the court, you need to wear a mask. I think the NBA is being real tricky with the language because they want to make money and they don't want to admit that perhaps the games themselves are huge transmission events. I dropped Jeremy Lamb for Evan Fournier. Did I make the right choice? I don't want to say it's the wrong choice. It could work out, but I think both have similar potential to produce. Evan Fournier, I guess with how poorly the Magic are doing as far as health, maybe has slightly higher upside because, I mean, they're signing a new third string point guard every week and they just keep dropping like flies. So that's going to open up some ball handling and offensive responsibility for Fournier. But personally speaking, I think I like Lamb a little bit more. Saying points league, then yes, in a points league, your players are great. I think you did. Magic got problems with guards, where Indiana got many guys there. So pretty much what I just said, good. I was thinking about trading Curry, Grant, and RJ Barrett for Dame Tatum. Thoughts? Steph Curry. Well, you're giving up the best player, but you're also getting back potentially the second best player, though Grant's been really good. RJ Barrett, that one doesn't really matter. I don't know that I could recommend trading Curry when he's been this freaking good. When Curry's this good, he's possibly the best player in fantasy basketball. So it's hard for me to tell you to do that. And we just got another super chat from OG, top supporter of Barack Lesnar Hoops, Mr. Julian Tomescu. Gosh, I hope I didn't say that wrong. And if I did, I'm sorry, buddy. You know I love you. Dort, McConnell, Brooks, and Jay Crowder on free agency watch list. Drop Finney Smith, Barton, Lamb, or Bay for these guys. All right, so let's see. Dort, McConnell, and Jay Crowder. So the main guy I like on there is TJ McConnell. And I would drop Dorian Finney-Smith. Dorian Finney-Smith is a good glue guy, but the level of assists and steals you're going to get from TJ McConnell are insane. I'm not sure why someone in a 14-team league would drop him. Not sure why they would do that. So you definitely want TJ McConnell. I would drop Finney-Smith, especially this week. I believe they're going to only have one game this week. And chances are Dorian Finney-Smith, he's one of those players that just ends up on the waiver wire all the time. And if you really like him, you'll have a chance to pick him up later on this season. So that's your move right there. Definitely worth the $5 you paid, in my opinion, if you follow that advice. Josh Yake, keep going, my man. Thanks for your knowledge. Thank you, my friend. I like to think that I'm providing value to you guys. I've been playing since 2008, and when you play something this long, you just start picking up the patterns. You start picking out the trends. You start picking out life doesn't often repeat, doesn't always repeat, but it often does rhyme. And fantasy basketball is definitely one of those things. So thank you guys for all of you that have done the super chats. I am very appreciative. If we get a few more super chats, I can definitely keep this rolling another half an hour. Hold on. I have to talk to my son and calm him down. I'll be right back. All right, you guys stay. I'll be right back. It'll be only a second. I'm back. I'm back. Don't leave. I'm back. I told you that 2-year-old, he's something else. Alright, I'm back. Oh, you guys didn't abandon me completely. You guys are so loyal. I love you guys. Alright. What other questions do we have? OG Anunoby has some chance of coming back this week. He's been game time decision. I think he's been doubtful the last few games, which means he's day to day, which means he's close to returning. So, yes, hold on. Hold on to OG Anunoby. Picked up Whiteside since his last game. BJ, keep in mind that Rashawn Holmes did not play, and also Marvin Bagley did not play. It looks like he's only going to have opportunity at 20-plus minutes when Rashawn Holmes does not play. I don't know if that's going to change after a performance like that, but then again, it's not a secret that Whiteside could do that, so I'm not sure if it's really going to change all that much. So if you drop your worst player or a streamer spot, you could do a whole lot worse. I did that in my Barack Lesner Hoop subscriber league, actually. I picked up Hassan Whiteside, but my drop was Kelly Olynyk, I believe. So I wouldn't drop somebody better than that, though. Neil Patel, postponed games and injuries are screwing me over. I mean, I'm first now in my league, but probably will lose this week because of injuries. It is what it is, Neil. Hey, can you guys hear me? Hello? Yeah, I think you guys can hear me. Give me, somebody comment and make sure you could hear me, because I don't want to just be talking for no reason. All right, thank you. Thank you for confirming. All right, so it is 6:09. We're probably going to go to around 6:30. So I got about 20 minutes. So if you want to make sure you get your questions in, make sure you get that super chat in. Otherwise, hopefully I can get to your question. Only cost you $1 or $2, and it helps keep this programming going. All right, Holmes or Whiteside? Holmes for sure, bro. Holmes for sure. Thoughts on trading Jaylen Brown for Drew and Dante? That's a tough one. Jaylen Brown's dealing with the knee tendonitis, and we've never seen him be as good as he's been this season. Drew's been really good, but he's also out injured, and Dante's been underperforming. So with those 2-for-1 trades, Neil, the thing with those 2-for-1 trades is that there's a pickup. So if you have Drew and Dante, you're going to have to drop somebody. So who are you going to be dropping? And then you want to gauge if your team's really stronger after the guy that you drop when you're making those 2-for-1 trades. So that's something to keep in mind. A lot of guys will try to get you with those 2-for-1 trades, but they're a mirage because you still have to drop somebody. If you're dropping somebody really bad, sure, but if the guy you're dropping is also pretty good, then that might not be a great trade for you. Though I'm a huge Drew Holiday fan and I'm a Bucks fan, so I may be biased. Drop Zeller for Kuz, wrong move. I think Zeller has longer term value than Kuzma. So, and I prefer big men, traditional center, that center eligibility. I don't think it's a wrong move, but I personally just prefer Zeller over Kuzma. Jose, thank you for that response. I'll definitely echo that response to my commish. I'll drop a check shortly. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate you. Definitely let the commish know that. Hey, Brock, love the concept. Do you think P.J. Washington will improve, and what is his ceiling? I love me some P.J. Washington. I love that he's small forward, power forward, center eligible. I love that he gets steals, blocks, and threes. This is his second year? He's only a second-year player, so he has a really high ceiling. I think he has the ceiling to be a better version of Robert Covington, and you guys know how much I love me some Robert Covington. So, uh, yeah, I'm a big fan. Keith, let me tell you something about Keith right here. I'm gonna highlight his comment. I hope he's still in here, but I just pinned his comment because this man Keith last year, I mean, I started years ago, and this man has been supporting me since I started Barack Lesner Hoops. He's been supportive, and even when I had to stop making videos for months, he would comment on my old videos and say stuff like, I hope you come back soon, brother. We miss you, brother. We need you, brother. You have the best fantasy basketball content, brother. And I promise you, that was such a large motivating force in me coming back and saying, I need to take this seriously. There's people who count on me for this. I've told you guys before, there's a bit of imposter syndrome when it comes to making yourself an authority to why should strangers trust what I have to say. And I just want to give him a shout out because he's been a huge support. He comments on almost every video, and it's always something gushing, and it's just really validating to have a fan like that. So, I wanted to shout him out for that. So, and he says, oh, shout out to D2W and Lucius and Kelvin stepping up. Triple OG is killing this live stream. Yes, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you guys. And I'm sorry you just caught this, Julian, but I'm glad you got your question answered. All right, so we only have a few questions left. We'll try to get through these. Appreciate you guys. If you're still in this chat, do me a favor and smash that like button if you haven't done that yet. When will you do a Rate My Team video? Line out, man. Calling me out. You're right. There's so many teams to rate on there. I don't even know where to get started. I keep putting it off, but I'm going to have to do it. Thank you for calling me out. Though I will be very limited in how many I can do because there's too many in there. So I'll do my best to have it done this week at the absolute latest. So if you want a chance to get your team rated, I'm probably going to have to do them randomly. Go ahead right now and submit your team in there, and I'm just going to have to scroll through and try to do as many as I can. I'm not going to be able to get through to everyone. The way to guarantee I do cover your team is to join as a member of Barack Lesner Hoops because my paid members get top priority when it comes to those Rate My Team videos. But I'm going to get it done this week. I give you my word. Line out, man. What to do with Lauri Markkanen? Should I drop? I feel like I answered that question already. Lauri Markkanen, use a spot for streaming if you can't afford to hold his dead weight. You're the man. Thanks, Barack. Love these live streams. Love you, Julian. You're the best. Action 23. Should I accept AD for Randall and LaMelo Ball? If you're worried about AD's health, that is a really good trade offer. Though I do have to ask you, just like I said, who would you be dropping to bring on that player? Because I need to know who you're going to be dropping. Do you think Delon Wright has season-long value in points leagues? Yes, I do think he has season-long value, especially with Blake Griffin gone now. They got rid of Derrick Rose. He's one of those players they want to develop and see if they have a long-term piece. He's been really good so far. He's been really consistent now for like a month or more. So I think Delon Wright does have season-long value because he contributes in so many different areas. I think he's more of a categories league player than a points league player, but with the level of assist he's been getting, not a bad option at all. Have a good one. Thank you, Sam. Mark Alexander, thank you, Barack. Joseph, I am still here. The baby, what happened is my baby refused to let his mother change his diaper. He insisted it had to be me, so I had to leave you guys to go change a diaper. If you're not a father yet, that is what awaits you in the future. All right, what to do with Lauri? I definitely answered that twice already, so I won't be answering that again. I'm trying to figure out whether to move AD or to hold on to him. AD's so good, you can only move him if you're going to get good value in return. Maybe you're not going to get $1 back, but I would at least try to get 85 cents back, if you know what I mean. How about trading Jaylen Brown, Horford for Wiggins and Drew? 9-cat, thinking about punching points and assists. If you're going to be punching assists, that kind of takes some value away from Drew. I don't know if I can recommend doing that trade. I'm not the biggest Wiggins fan. If you could get somebody better than Wiggins and Drew, then I'd probably would more strongly consider it. So I just read that Cole Anthony will be out for a month. Did I hold on to him or drop him? I already have CJ. Yeah, you drop Cole Anthony. I haven't read that he's out for a month. You may be more up to date on that than me, but if he's really out for a month, there's really nothing to hold on to there. Especially if your IR is already full. You're not going to drop CJ McCollum, so Cole Anthony's not good enough, even when healthy, that you're going to carry his dead weight for a whole month. Should I trade Cat and LaMelo Ball for Luka Doncic? That's not... Man, that's a tough one. That's a really hard one because on paper, a healthy Karl Anthony Towns is better than Luka Doncic in category leagues. And LaMelo Ball is a stud. Who would you be picking up off the IR to make up for the fact that you have a streamer spot open? I guess if I know who you're picking up, we can include him as part of that deal, and it would be easier for me to answer that question. All right. We're getting near the end, so this is your chance to ask those questions. Thoughts on trading? Answered that already. Anthony out of mouth. Whoa. Tori, what to do with Lauri Markkanen? I think you should send him a gift basket, a fan letter, and tell him you hope he comes back soon. And then you drop him to the waiver wire. Should I trade Cat and LaMelo for Doncic? Answered that. Dang, Action. How many times are you going to ask the same question, my friend? Go ahead. Ask a few more times. Why not? Should I drop Adams for Wendell Carter Jr.? Adams has been pretty bad, and I like Wendell Carter Jr.'s upside more. Do you have any other drops? Line out, man. I'm just curious what other drops you have. Anthony Cruz, I'm a new viewer. What do you think about PG-13? I proposed a trade to get rid of him. So far, no bites. Yeah, it's really hard to trade a guy that's injured and has no real timetable. Is my voice still echoing? I must have missed that my voice is echoing. If it is, I'm sorry. What do you think of PG-13? Anthony, your best bet's probably going to be to hold on to him and hope he comes back healthy in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Because you're not going to get a whole lot of value unless you trade for some injured guys too. Because guys who have injured guys are down on those injured guys. So they're a lot more likely to bite. If they figure they already have injured guys, they might as well trade for Paul George. But if you're not getting bites already, you're probably going to be selling him too low. When you rate a team, you're looking for 4 good bigs and 4 good point guards. Is it because wings are easier to find? That's a lot. That has a lot to do with it, Kelvin. I also feel that point guards and centers just have more trade value. And if you control a lot of them, since they are harder to find, what ends up happening is they come at a premium. So if you have 4 to 5 of each, suddenly the team that only has 1 or 2 gets desperate. They may give you really good wing value in order to get one of your centers or one of your bigs. And it makes sense, though, that wings are easier to find. The average height of NBA players, I believe, is 6'7", and they don't have as much ball handling responsibility. So point guard is a real skilled position. And centers, that's based on your size. And, you can't teach size. So there's reasons why I've covered in the past why they tend to be more rare, and just in my experience playing fantasy basketball, they just tend to have the most value. I value them the most, and I think a lot of people do. Do rate my team video in parts, more views per video. Not a bad idea, Julian. I may have to do several rate my team videos to try to catch up. Sean Calvin, thanks for doing this, Barack. Do I hold AD on IR or try to move him? If you're going to get good value back for AD, you move him. But if not, you just hold him in your IR, especially with 11 categories. I'm assuming some of those categories are rebound based. So that means that gives them even more valuable and more value in that format. How do you know when someone becomes a member? Because I want you to rate my team and I want to be a member. All right, so line out, man. What you can do, I can see it in. I have access to a panel of my members on YouTube. So, or the other thing is you could join on Patreon. And if you want to join on Patreon, you could go to the official Discord, which I posted before. And you should be able to join that way. You could find one of my old videos, and that's all in the description. It shows you how to join as a member on YouTube. It shows you how to join as a Patreon. It shows you how to do all that jazz. Those paid members, they just get first dibs when it comes to those rates. There's actually a special Patreon section in my Discord, and if you're a Patreon follower, you show up automatically. And if you're not a Patreon follower and you're a YouTube member, I can see that, and you just have to send me a chat and let me know that you're a YouTube member, and I can match that up, and I'll make sure you get covered first. Anybody else that wants to be a member of Barack Lesnar Hoops, you pay a small fee every month. You got a cool badge next to your name. That's another way I know that you're a member of Barack Lesnar Hoops, that cool badge you get right next to your name. Jordan Clarkson is a six-man favorite this season. Is he a hold or sell high? I think he's a sell high. He's been so freaking good so far. And we've also seen the emergence now of Joe Ingles. And we've also seen Mike Conley not playing. Once Mike Conley's back, Joe Ingles might take a hit, but I still think he's going to get enough playing time where I think you could get something really good for Jordan Clarkson right now. Ali Han, hey man, have a great evening. You looking good. Not as good as you, my friend. Bojan Bogdanovic or Thaddeus Young. Brandon, Bojan Bogdanovic all day, every day. I'm a huge Bojan Bogdanovic fan. I think he's very underrated. All right. I traded Trey and Melo and Gary Trent for Doncic and Uber Jr. Trey, LaMelo, and Gary Trent. Yep, that's a really good trade for you. Good job, Alejandro. I like that trade a lot. Fox and Tatum for Durant. Worth or not worth it? I have concerns with Durant. I think they've rested him a lot. He's already missing some time now. He came off a really serious Achilles injury, and I always had concerns that once they started really testing him, that that we could see some injury concerns, and I think we're starting to see that. Tatum is younger, and Fox has been really good. I don't know that I can tell you to make that move unless you tell me you have a really good pickup to pair with Durant. And yes, pick up TJ McConnell, Alahan, for sure. Do that. Looking to trade AD away in a 2-for-2. Current offer is AD and Fred VanVleet for Middleton and Brogdon. But you can definitely do better than that. Fred VanVleet's like a top 10 player right now. I think you can do better than that. Especially if you just... It is a serious injury AD has, though. And it's concerning because it's one of those injuries that hopefully doesn't become more serious later on. Hopefully he's able to rest long enough that it's not a thing that nags all season, because we don't want to see what happened with Kevin Durant where he tore his Achilles after dealing with a calf strain and coming back too soon. How about JB Horford for Drew and Grant? For Drew and Grant, yes, I would do that move, Neil. If you get Drew and Grant, definitely do that move. OG will be the other one. I must have missed what that was in reference to. Remind me again, if you can, what that OG will be the other one is in reference to. Traded Jamal Murray and Danny Green for Shea Gilgeous and picking Poto from the waiver. What about that? Traded Jamal Murray and Danny Green for Shea and picking Poto from the waiver. Yeah, I like that move a lot. That's a really great move. I prefer Shea Gilgeous Alexander and Poto over Jamal Murray and Danny Green for sure. Great move. PG-13 for Marcus Smart? Absolutely not. You do not do that move. No. Anthony, you're new to this channel. I'm going to take care of you, my friend. You do not trade Paul George for Marcus Smart. You hold on to Paul George if the best you can do is Marcus Smart. You need to give me Marcus Smart and like a top 50 player for me to consider giving Paul George away. What do you think Kevin Love will be producing in points leagues and category leagues when he returns? Look what they're doing with Drummond. They're already sitting Drummond, trying to trade him because they want to play Jared Allen. Kevin Love is not part of that team's future. I don't see much different happening with Kevin Love. So whatever he produces, I don't think it's going to be long term. I'm not big on Kevin Love. He gets injured way too much. And he's a veteran on a rebuilding team. So learn from what they're doing to Andre Drummond. I don't see Kevin Love being much different than Andre Drummond. He's a veteran on a team that wants to develop young guys. Kevin Love does not fit there. Chances are they're going to try to buy him out. JML Sports. Yo, what is good, my friend? By the way, Nigeria channel's a supporter. Would you rate my roster or should I join Platinum or Diamond? Diamond tier? Listen, Alejan, if you're a Diamond tier on my channel, you get to message me directly on my Discord server. So at any moment, if you're a Diamond tier member on Barack Lesner Hoops, you contact me on the Discord server. You let me know your YouTube name. I confirm that. You can message me at any point, and I will rate your team directly. You don't even have to wait. That is the perk of a Diamond tier member. If you're a Patreon, that's my highest membership. You get to message me directly at any point, and I will talk to you. Other people have messaged me, and if you're not a Diamond tier member, unfortunately, I can't help you with direct messages. You have to catch me on these live streams. I just don't have enough time. But if you are paying that much money to be a member of Barack Lesner Hoops, I will take care of you and answer you directly. So I hope that answers your question, Alihan. I'm not in panic mode, but do I drop Aaron Gordon for Bagley? It sounds like you're in panic mode because I don't care for either one of those two players. I think you have to be able to do better than that, JML. Thanks for answering my question, bros. Cheers. Thank you for being part of this chat. I really appreciate it. We're about to wrap up. D-Lo is droppable or nah? I wouldn't drop him yet. I don't know if he has the IR. Put him in your IR for now, but I wouldn't drop him yet. I'd hope for him to come back, maybe have a couple of games, and then try to package him for somebody better. I don't like his long-term outlook, though. Drop Adams for Wendell Carter Jr. I believe I did answer that. But yes, I would make that move for Wendell Carter Jr. Or drop OG. I will say drop Adams. Do not drop OG. Do not drop OG. And again, Alejan, thank you so much for becoming a member of Barack Lesner Hoops. If you are interested in becoming a member of Barack Lesner Hoops like he did, you got that cool badge that he now has. You're going to get your questions answered before everyone else as well, because I'll see that badge in these super chats. And if you're a Diamond tier member, you get to ask me questions directly by joining the official Discord server. That is your way to communicate with me. And here's that link again. What would be in that tier if you trade Horford? Should I hold Horford or look to move him? I don't really have holes on my team, but I would like to get another guard if possible. I would look to move Horford for sure. I would look to move Horford. He's just on a rebuilding team that doesn't have interest in winning. We've seen that with the moves they've made. They've actually been outproducing expectations, but unless Al Horford gets traded to a great situation, I think the rest games aren't going to make him worth the headache, especially later on this season. Yes, line out, man. That's what I'm suggesting. you drop Adams for Wendell Carter Jr. Alejandro, last question for you as a member of Barack Lesner Hoops. Of course, I got you. What should I do with Mitchell Robinson with his injury situation? Because in my league, we don't have an injury room. Ooh, that's rough. That's real rough. How well is your team doing? Do you think you can float having that dead weight for the next 4 to 5 weeks, possibly 6 weeks? The All-Star break will make it a little bit better, but with no IR, it's really hard to carry that dead weight. How bare is your waiver wire, Alejandro? I guess that's my question, because if you have a decent waiver wire, you may have to move them. You could try to trade them, maybe for like 60 cents on the dollar, so you don't have to give them up for nothing. But, that's rough. All right, I'll answer a few more. Gosh, guys. Should I pick up Josh Okogie? I think Ricky Rubio's the pickup with D'Lo out. I don't think Josh Okogie, I don't like his upside outside of a very deep league. D'Lo is out 4 to 6 weeks. Wow, I must have missed that. That is huge news. So that makes, if you're listening right now, run and grab Ricky Rubio. He's only rostered in like 50% of leagues. Run and grab Ricky Rubio right now. Right now. Grab Ricky Rubio. He's been a lot better with D'Lo out. And we might not see D'Lo play again this season. I don't know what the incentive is for them to rush him back when they've been so bad. So go grab Ricky Rubio right now. That is some free advice. If you are listening, go grab him. So if you can survive your third seed and you can survive 4 to 5 weeks, then hold on to him. Try to package him in a trade. But if not, try to hold on as long as you can, because Mitchell Robinson, when he's healthy, he's one of the best steals and blocks guys in the NBA, and we haven't even seen him scratch the surface of how good he can be. When he's at his best, he's a guy that can get you 3+ blocks per game, which is incredible value. All right, guys. Again, the best advice I'm going to give you right now, I just found out because I have the best members around. D'Lo is out for the next 4 to 5 weeks. Okay? For the next 4 to 5 weeks, D'Lo is out. You need to run and pick up Ricky Rubio. That is your pickup. Ricky Rubio. In a deeper format, McLaughlin, I think that's his name. He's their backup point guard after Ricky Rubio, the third string point guard. I may have said his name wrong. He is your other option in a deeper format, but Ricky Rubio is who you want to pick up. Last I checked, he's only rostered in 50% of leagues. So is D'Lo a drop? Yeah, when he's out the next 3 to 4 weeks, unless you have the IR space, he's probably going to be a drop. Sometimes you have to drop a player, even if it doesn't make sense. I dropped, in one of my leagues, how am I forgetting his name? Kemba Walker. I dropped Kemba Walker because he's sitting back-to-back games. He's killing my field goal percentage. He's not getting me steals. And I ended up dropping him in a 12-team league. So it's probably not the worst idea to have to drop D'Lo with that news. Ant-Man is an ad as well. He's an ad as well. But probably not in the 12-team league, at least for right now. Drop Thaddeus Young for Rubio. I would probably make that move. I would probably drop Thaddeus Young for Rubio. Rubio has been struggling so far this season, but his best production has come with D'Lo injured. So in the past, and we're talking about now going back 5-6 years, Ricky Rubio starts the year off really just rough, and then he plays himself into a groove, and then all of a sudden, we saw this with the Suns. We've seen this almost every season. He becomes one of the best fantasy point guards after the All-Star break. So now you have Ricky Rubio with guaranteed playing time heading into the All-Star break. Like I told you guys, history does not always repeat, but it often rhymes. That is a gamble I would be willing to make. Pick up Ricky Rubio. I just traded Victor Oladipo for Ricky Rubio and Jalen Brunson in the 16-team league. So I don't like hearing that D'Lo's injured, but as far as fantasy value for Ricky Rubio, that news is exciting for Ricky Rubio's value. Not that I'm excited D'Lo Brown. D'Angelo Russell's injured. Shout out to D'Lo Brown. But all right, guys, we don't have any questions. Thank you so much to everyone that contributed Super Chat. Thank you so much for D2W Stu, who not only contributed a lot of money, but he also joined as a member of Barack Lesner Hoops and now has that cool badge. Thank you, Alehan, for becoming a member as well. It means a lot to me. You're really supporting the work that I'm doing. And I will be doing these live streams more often. I will try to do them weekly, maybe on Tuesdays. Tuesdays or Thursdays are probably going to be my live stream days. Probably Tuesdays, though. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means the world to me. Is Mo Wagner an ad, Nero? Mo Wagner is definitely an ad, maybe even in some 12-team formats. If you don't have if you have a streamer spot, pick him up. At least stream him for now. And also keep in mind, Washington had a lot of postponed games. So if they get to play their full allotment of games, he's going to have a loaded second half schedule. Thank you for smashing that like button. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Consider joining as a member. Consider joining the Discord. I'm going to link it one more time. Go post in the Rate My Team video. And if you're a member of Barack Lesner Hoops and you join, let me know. Join as a member. Send me a message on the Discord letting me know you're a member. I will confirm that, and then I'll give you access to the Patreon options. Or you can join directly as a Patreon for Barack Lesner Hoops, and then you'll get direct access to that, and I can give you a link to that right now. Give me one moment. You'll get instant access to it by doing it this way. Here you go. And everybody, one last thing before I go. Hi, Uzi, you came late to the party. If you see Adriana right there, show her some love. That is my daughter, the love of my life. She's pretending. I don't know why she would join my Discord server when she doesn't play fantasy basketball. So she's capping hard, but she is the smartest kid I know, much smarter than me, has a bright future ahead of her, and I love her. So, show her some love. And that is how I will end this. Gushing about one of the most important people in the world to me. My daughter, Adriana. She's the best. All right, y'all. Until next time, this is Barack Lesner of Barack Lesner Hoops. Have a wonderful rest of your day.